There is lots of Joe Biden video that I could play for you, okay? But you might not have seen this one, and that's why I'm going to play it for you. With the trillions and trillions and trillions we are racking up right now, and all the money we're sending to Ukraine and pretty much everywhere else in the world, Joe Biden has made another promise to send your money somewhere else. Take a look.
And as I pledge to all of you, the United States will donate $1 billion for every $2 billion committed by the rest of the world. So that means we're going to work. That means we're going to work with our partners in Congress to contribute another $6 billion to the Global Fund, bringing the overall global pledge as of today to $14 billion.
Woo! You can hear everybody cheering. More free money from the stupid American taxpayer. You people will just keep paying taxes and they'll just keep sending it around the world. But this is what it looked like when Joe Biden was done speaking. Brace yourself.
Mr. President, thank you. At the end of such a momentous event, the word thank you seems kind of inadequate. But for all the millions whose lives will be saved, for the communities where life will be transformed, thank you. So thank you, President Biden, for your outstanding...
Oh, my God. That was not the animatronic Joe Biden from Disney's Hall of Presidents. That was the real Joe Biden. He was literally lost on the stage. My first guest is the senior editor at The Federalist, John Daniel Davidson. Thank you for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
That is our commander-in-chief right there. He makes this giant promise that he's going to start matching all these other countries' donations with money that we don't have, and then he just gets lost. And they're like, "Oh, over here, Mr. President. Thank you for helping." Oh my God, how you doing, sir?
Doing well. I mean, I'm kind of disturbed after seeing that clip again, but yeah, I'm doing well.
Do you think at this point that because none of the Democrats' plans are actually working out, this is why they're criminalizing the Republicans?
Yeah, sort of their only play left. They know they're unpopular. They know people don't want to vote for Democrats. They know they're facing a sort of historic, a shellacking in November. And so what do they have left? They can criminalize the opposition. They can try to indict Trump, which they were hoping to do before November. It doesn't look like that's going to happen now. And sort of smear mainstream Republicans as domestic terrorists, extremists, whatever you want to call them. It's an age-old tactic, and it's what regimes do when they're out of favor with the people. And that's where we are.
Well, we were told inflation was transitory. Then just the other day, Biden said, well, come on, man, it's not really moved. Yeah, it's at 8.3% and not coming down anytime soon. The use of the Strategic Petroleum Reserve cannot go on forever. Once that turns off, the gas prices are going to go right back up. The tale that the border is secure has been proven a lie time and time again. I mean, 48 people broke the elite left in Martha's Vineyard. Nothing they claim is working is working.
And as time goes on, it's harder and harder for the corporate media to run cover for them. You're even starting to see that, the media break ranks a little bit. They have to acknowledge, for example, every time we have an inflation report come out, they have to acknowledge, inflation isn't doing so well. Every time we get new numbers from U.S. Customs and Border Protection, they have to acknowledge, it's a record-breaking year again. This fiscal year 2022, record-breaking year for illegal immigration, breaking the previous record, which was set in 2021. So you're starting to see this kind of breakdown in the media's ability to even run cover for the administration, which is sort of their whole reason for existence. That's one indication of how bad it is.
We're coming up on 2 years since January 6th. Not a single person has been charged under the insurrection charge. Not a single one. Got a bunch of people rotting in a jail. Nobody has been charged with 18 U.S.C. 2383. Yet this January 6th thing keeps rolling on. And Biden says that according to the intelligence services and federal law enforcement, the biggest threat to our entire nation, it's not the open border, it's not the cartels, cartels. It's not the fentanyl. It's not the foreign-born terrorism. It's not Iran. It's not Russia. It's not North Korea. It's white supremacist terrorist, something or other. That's the biggest threat. Now, who's a white supremacist terrorist? I guess anyone who's not a Democrat.
Also, those MAGA Republicans,
right?
Which I don't know if the terminology is intentionally vague or if the president meant to sort of disparage 74 million Americans as MAGA Republicans. But that's not what you do. That's not the kind of rhetoric you engage in if you really believe that you're leading a popular political movement and you're the head of a popular political party. That's the kind of thing you do when you know that you're about to lose power and you desperately want to hold on to it. It's the kind of thing that Daniel Ortega has done in Nicaragua since 2007. How is it that Daniel Ortega has been president of Nicaragua since 2007? Well, every time they have an election, he throws all the other presidential candidates in jail. That's how he's still president. And we're starting to see that kind of rhetoric from Merrick Garland in the Justice Department, from Joe Biden in the White House, this increasingly hysterical rhetoric about Republicans that is meant to, in the minds of anyone of their audience, to criminalize the whole notion of being a Republican or being a Trump supporter or having an America First political philosophy. That's the point.
You would think, and I know the media is never going to do this, you have six young Hispanic women running for Congress as conservative, pro-border security Republicans.
Yeah.
When you lose a voting bloc that big, that was traditionally yours through thick and thin, that ought to tell you something about your agenda.
And about the disappearance of your coalition. I think what's behind a lot of these changes to how we run elections stems from the Democrats' awareness that their traditional coalition, which included black voters, Hispanic voters, educated white ladies in suburbs, that coalition is starting to fracture, and they can't rely on it the way they used to. They see in the last election that we saw increasing numbers of black voters and Hispanic voters vote for Donald Trump. And so when that coalition starts to fracture, they know they have to kind of rejigger their election administration to maximize votes in deep blue areas, in big cities, in inner cities, and suppress votes in other parts of the country. It's the only way that they can keep the elections close enough that they can claim victory when it comes down to it. And that's what we're seeing.
Yeah, well, inflation's affecting everyone, right? This is not the cities versus the countryside anymore.
Right.
It's hurting everyone. And the cities run by Democrats not doing very well. None of this is shocking. But, when we talk about, look, if you're a junkie and, most people are not voting for, a president, like who's he going to pick for the Secretary of State or who's going to be our trade representative, right? Most people think that the federal government has one job, and that's to, make things kind of easy and normal. And this is not normal.